Welcome back to another episode of Podcast P, presented to you by Prize Picks, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original. And today we have another special episode with Story Mode, the big dog himself, my guy, DJ. What's up, bro? We see you Tiger Wood out.
Well, yeah, I just came from my my day job. You know what I mean? I told P I didn't break any clubs today.
That's a positive.
Yeah. Just I'm golfing a lot this summer. It's taking over my life and my American Express account. But other than that, man, that's what I'm doing right now and easing back into the workout thing.
Yeah. So you said the goal is to shoot under 100, but you notice he didn't give us an actual number.
What he shot today. Yeah. I said, what did you shoot today? Well, the goal.
The goal is to shoot under.
It was one of those, like, after hole 8, you just stop keeping count?
No. I shot under 100 today, but we only played 9. So,
okay.
So I shot under 100. So it's good. I won't tell y'all what I shot today, but.
So if you double it, is it still under 100 or?
No, it's 102 if I double it.
Are you the type of golfer though that's keeping a true track of your score?
I'm keeping true score. However, I will say, like, I'm taking a breakfast ball off one though.
That's fair. But after that, you're playing it where it lies.
Yeah,
you're not, doing one of the.
No.
Ball land in the bush. You.
I mean, like, if it's man-made, I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not Tiger, Colin Morikawa yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, so we got to start things off with the obvious, bro. Mm-hmm. The clip show that came out on FX.
Oh wow, yeah.
I don't know if you've watched it or have you seen it. Like, what was your first initial thoughts when you saw that? Okay,
so shout out to those people for putting that on. Like, that's awesome. I think that's great. It's entertaining. However, I had nothing to do with that. I don't think that any of my teammates had anything to do with that. I think the best cast part they got was probably Matt. Like, I think Sharon looked just like Matt. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, Ed O'Neill, I think, is kind of like embodying Sterling in a way, which is kind of funny. I haven't seen the show yet. I've seen snippets and clips of what people have sent me. Where I'm looking at, this one, I have never in my life had a Cosmopolitan drink. But I guess in the show it's depicted that I like those drinks.
Yeah.
I may try one now because, we'll see. But I'm more of a tequila wine guy. Just
there we go.
If y'all want to know. But but it's entertaining. I don't know.
What made you not watch it up to this point yet?
Well, just because I didn't know how realistic it was going to be, because I knew that it hadn't gone through any of my former teammates. So I'm like, okay, well, if you aren't getting stories from them, then where are the stories coming from? I'm sure it's loosely based off of some things that have happened, but entertainment sells, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
right.
Yeah.
That is weird. Like, why? You think they would?
They would.
Yeah.
Like, to make it more realistic, I'm sure they would have got some good stories.
Yeah. I didn't want much, just like a couple, sets of golf balls probably.
Easy.
I didn't want no cheese and nothing.
Yeah, easy. Everybody that you talk to that's a part of that era of the Don Sterling, none of y'all got together and kind of, hey, DJ, did you see this part or?
We text about it for sure.
Okay.
Like, we talk about it. Like, obviously everybody talks about, like, the practice scene.
Yeah.
When Doc is, like, going crazy on guys. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, Doc definitely was, like, on guys, but, like, some of the things that he said in there, absolutely false. Like, I love Matt Barnes and I love Doc. You think if Doc said that, what he said to the show in Matt Barnes, there wouldn't have been a fist fight on the court. Like, I doubt that, But it's just like, it's entertaining, you know what I mean? And I think that that group, we went through a lot of things, ups and downs. We had a lot of great moments, a lot of shitty moments. I don't know if I can. Okay. I didn't know what I could do on Podcast P. But like I said, man, we had a lot of great moments. We had a lot of highs and lows, and I think that the show kind of embodies that from what I've heard. But I haven't seen it yet.
We'll have to. I want to check
it
out.
Have
you watched it at all?
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
I've just seen all the Twitter
It's funny.
stuff.
I saw a billboard and the billboard was like, what did it say? Something about LA's other team. Or you seen that?
Disrespectful.
And I was that is disrespectful.
But why would y'all broadcast that about the show?
I
just don't understand. Like, it's kind of like, hey, what's...
It was like the story of LA's other team.
Yeah. It seems like they would have to get permission, though, to be able to just do a whole TV show on the Clippers and representing. That's kind of like...
It was something like that, right? Yeah.
Dang.
I was like,
talk about a headline.
Yeah. It's like, hey, watch the lower rated version of Winning Time.
Right.
You know, like, damn.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the Prize Picks community today. With Prize Picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a Prize Picks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're locked in. So we don't have Jackie in today, but we do have the infamous YT, the producer, with us doing the Prize Picks ad roll today.
So Dallas, you want to show people how it's done? Let's do a more or less projection for players on Tuesday, WNBA game between the Lynx and the Liberty game.
Okay, let's do it.
More or less, Courtney Williams, 15 points.
I'm going to take less.
More or less, Breanna Stewart, 20 points.
I'm going to take less there too.
So last one, Dallas,
okay,
all right?
Let's hear it.
More or less, Sabrina Ionescu, 6 assists.
I'm going to take more on that one, YT.
Okay.
So download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. I repeat, download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. So one of the biggest topics in basketball right now is your former teammate, JJ Redick, just became the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I think he signed a 4-year deal. But I want to know if you think he's ready to be a head coach, and more specifically for the Lakers, because this isn't any other team. This is the Los Angeles Lakers. How do you think he's going to do?
One of the most prominent sports teams in all the sports. I think that, in my opinion, no head coach is ready to be a head coach when it's that time. I think it's kind of like you get baptized by fire and you kind of just go with the flow. However, I do believe that JJ is a very smart guy. He knows the game. He's knowledgeable. He does know how to communicate with different players and with different backgrounds and skill sets. You know, the Lakers' job, man, it's a tough job in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think that obviously that team has won 17 championships. They are expected to win. They hold everybody to a high standard, P, as you know. Like, so it's, you know, it's not, they're not going to treat them like a first coaching experience head coach. It's going to be like, no, you're expected to come in here and win, and that's it. But, you know, JJ went to Duke, had a lot of pressure his entire career, defied a lot of odds, you know what I'm saying? So I think he's up for the challenge. I mean, I just hope that, you know, whenever they play the Nuggets, that he doesn't succeed.
His
you know
game
what I'm
plan
saying?
just sucks that night.
I got to be honest, but I'm rooting for JJ. I hope he does well.
Yeah. I mean, that's pressure. Because you seen first time was Darvin Ham's coaching career, and you saw how quick things went left, and the Lakers fans just jumped on him quick.
Yeah, especially they went to the Western Conference Finals last year.
Exactly. Yep.
Were they playing last year? I think?
Yep.
So that's, you know, I thought he did a great job with them last year, you know. But P, as you know, man, this business is tough, bro. You know what I mean? You gotta go right now, and if you don't, it's tough.
It's going to be it's already just the media and everyone talking about like, oh, he does the podcast with LeBron already. It is a very interesting dynamic. There's a lot of controversy
around it already.
It's going to be fun. But in 2016, you guys both played on the same team in the Olympics in Brazil, and there was a ton of different characters on that team. You had yourself, you had P, DeMarcus Cousins, KD, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie. But regardless of all those characters, it seemed like you guys really meshed well, and a lot of funny moments came out on video. Just walk us through what for you would be the most memorable moment of that trip.
Ooh, man, that trip was dope, man. I think for me, just being able to be an Olympian first was amazing. You know what I mean? And just to be able to play with future Hall of Famers like P and a handful of other guys was amazing. I remember watching the Olympics with my grandma, with my brothers when we were younger, and just to be able to have the opportunity come up for me, and then to ultimately for us to win gold was awesome. And P and I were in the second unit for a bit, and we were kind of like the Suicide Squad out there. You know what I mean? We were just like, let's get stops and run and just kind of be the energetic group, and that's what we did. And it was super duper fun, man. And I feel like when guys go to the Olympic team, the ego kind of goes out of the way. You know what I mean? And it's like we're there for one common goal. We got to beat the rest of these countries because they don't care about us, and we got to come out on top. And it was like, hey, you may not be able to be the Paul George in Indiana, but you got to be the Paul George in the second unit doing this. And like, so guys had to sacrifice, and that was kind of cool to see. And also, like, I'll never be able to play with a team like this other than maybe like an all-star team or a summer pro-am league or something like that. So just to be able to do that in Brazil was pretty cool, man. And I feel like we all got along. No, there was no bullshit bickering. Guys got along, and we cared for each other. We spent a ton of time together. Because you remember, it was like Zika around that time. So like, you thought if you got bit by a mosquito, it was over with. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how it was, you know? Like, it was a tough time. So we were on a boat the whole time. So we were literally practice back to the boat. You know, so we spent a ton of time together, whether it be video games, dominoes, cards, whatever. We spent a ton of time together in those short months, and it paid off for us. Yeah.
I do think that shit was fun because, like, on our teams respectively, we're the stars of our teams. You know what I mean? And then we go over there. It was like fun playing a role. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm not like cool. Like, I just get to lock shit up. Like, like this. Cool, I'm down with that. That shit was fun. Yeah. But I thought the best part about it was, like, you got to see everybody's preparation and everybody prepared differently. You know what I mean? So it was cool to see, like, okay, this is how Melo works out and he gets ready for his season, and this is how KD does it, and this is how Kyrie does it. And it was cool to just see everybody's blend and see what works for them, what doesn't, what, you know, this person added this because of this person now. Like, it was just cool to see all of that unpack. Yeah. And then we had a hell of a time, like, you kept the fucking group chat going.
I heard of I think you shared. Clay was on this team, right?
Clay was on this team.
I heard you lost a bunch of money on the FIFA. That's what you.
Yeah, we did. We did. Yeah. Clay got me on the FIFA.
That team was fun, man. Just like for me, like, my job never changes when I'm on a team. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, set screens, roll, dunk, rebound, block shots. Like, my job is easy. You know what I mean? But I think, like P said, guys being able to be selfless and get themselves up for a greater goal, I thought was cool. And for me to also be able to sit back and watch Paul George, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, like Jimmy Butler, them guys play one-on-one, that shit was the best for me, because I'm like, oh, this is what fans feel like sitting courtside. Like, I could sit here and just watch this shit all day. Like, that was a great experience for me, man. It was cool. It was cool.
During the second year in the league, Clippers drafted BG, right? Blake Griffin. When did y'all have that we became best friends, like the step brothers moment? Like, man, when did that relationship establish?
That's crazy. I would say, like, right away, man, because I went to Blake's draft workout. I mean, obviously, like, everybody in the country knew we were taking.
Right, he going number one. You got to see who this kid
is.
And
I was in LA, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna go to the workout. I got nothing else to do. You know, I got no kids, no girl. I'm here. I'm going. And I think that, you know, going to college for a year and, you know, having that dorm with your teammate experience, kind of like we all lived together after practice. I only had that for a year, when most guys have that for, you know, 4 seasons. And I think it was that, man, because my rookie year, it was kind of like, oh, what you doing after practice? You know, it's like, I'm going home. I got kids. I'm going here with my girl. I'm like, I guess I'm gonna go home and play FIFA. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just kind of like, I missed that. And then to have another young guy on the team with Eric Gordon, Mike Taylor, and myself, we kind of all kind of became super duper close. And Blake and I became super duper close, obviously. And we were teammates for another 9 years after that. And we did pretty much everything together, because it was like we were around the same age. We liked a lot of the same things. And we were as thick as thieves then.
Cause y'all what a year apart?
A year apart,
Okay.
yeah.
So when you like, I got me a little bro now.
Yeah, it was cool, bro. Like we're obviously the same like high school class, but I came out a year before Blake. But it was like league wise, it was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna come up through my NBA career with this guy. And at that time, we had been thinking like we were gonna be with the Clippers for 20 years. Like that's what our plan was to do. And we pushed each other. Blake works extremely hard. So it was like, okay, I kind of got somebody to push off with right now. Like, okay, he sees me doing this, he's going to try to do more. I see him doing this, and I'm going to try to do more. So that kind of like competition between ourselves was awesome to have. Yeah.
So during that time, Lob City's developed, right? CP's there, you, BG. What time in that era is like most memorable of like, this is just one of the funnest times? Because for a long time, Lob City was like, when you played the Clippers, you knew what you was getting into.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers gonna run and watch out. Watch out.
It was fun, man. It was just like, I think at the beginning when we first got Chris, we were kind of like, oh shit, we're excited to dunk. You know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of what it was. It was like, man, we got one of the best passers, if not the best passer of all time, who wants to pass, throwing us the ball whenever. And I remember when CP first got there, he was like throwing the lob like right at the rim. And we was kind of like, damn, bro, like,
let's have some fun.
And he was like, what? I'm putting it where it needs to be. We was like, no, like throw it like a little bit here, so we can kind of like cock it back going. He was like, oh, okay. So then in practice, he kind of was just throwing it anywhere.
Yeah.
And then he was like, all right, one of y'all go get it. So after then, it was kind of like he knew that he didn't have to place it for us.
Yeah.
So that was fun to kind of be able to get that.
So the Lob City was developed in practice.
Oh yeah, we would just try crazy shit in practice. Like he would just come through and we would do something, and I'd be like, yo, I'm behind you, and he would just didn't look. Before he would look and then have to, but after a while he would just like, oh, I'm just throw it up there. Like one of y'all will come and get it. So that was fun. But I think that we lost to Memphis. After that, it got serious. It was kind of like, okay, well, shit, we can do this. We don't want that feeling again. They had like TA and Marc Gasol and Conley and Zebo. So it was kind of like, shit, we got to be more serious about our craft. And, it can't just be trying to get dunks like in an AAU game or in an All-Star game. We got to be serious about it. And I think that we kind of took our games up to another level after that. So it was cool to kind of see that.
Do you wish you would have trademarked the Lob City name?
Yeah. But at that time, we weren't even thinking about that. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, having fun. I'm 20 years old. Let's just rock and roll.
Right, because y'all just in a moment.
Yeah, but after that, it was kind of like, oh shit, well, we probably lost out on a lot.
You guys had a great rivalry with the Warriors, a little bit before their dynasty run. But there were a lot of moments, for instance, Jermaine O'Neal confronts Blake in the Staples Center tunnel. But when you look back on those games, what would you say was maybe the most tense moment that you guys had while playing the Warriors?
We had a Christmas game against the Warriors that was pretty fun. But I would probably say playoffs. It was either game 6 or 7. Game 6 was when all of the Sterling shit happened. And I remember we like flipped our warm-ups inside out and all that. And before that, it was just such an emotional game that I was like, man, we go either beat their ass by 20 or they go beat us by 20. The game's not going to be close, We ended up getting smoked that night. But then game 7 at home, we ended up beating them at the end in a pretty close game. But it was just such an emotional time, man, and they were such a great team. And I think they ended up winning it all the next year. So I think that playoff series against them was probably one of the best times that we've had. Yeah.
And you just mentioned, Chris Paul and him throwing those lobs, but we just had Dante Jones on the pod a few months ago, and he mentioned how Blake and CP were just so different. And you could see it in the media. It almost felt like there was, maybe a little bumping of the heads between them two. But is there a particular story that you remember that kind of explains how demanding CP was as a teammate, but also one of the leaders?
I think, man, people can say what they want about CP. I think that CP is you want to have CP on your team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like he is gonna fight until the buzzer goes off. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that when you got a dog like that on your team, it's great to be around because he's gonna motivate you to be the best player you can be. He's gonna challenge you, which some guys don't like to be challenged. You know what I mean? Like, let's get that out there in the open. Some guys don't like that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris is a guy that's like, no, like I need you to be better so we can be better as a team. And he wants to be held accountable. And I think that's important to have, especially from your point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like their voices, it has to carry. But Chris, he expected a lot out of all of us. And I think that people kind of get rubbed the wrong way with that. And I think when you're young, you kind of like, damn, man, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But as you get older and you start to understand the game, you start to understand like guys get to a certain point and they want to win a championship and they see these opportunities that they had when they were younger and they kind of slip away. You don't want those to slip away in the time where you have a great team around you. So it's kind of like, I'm not going to do what I did last time and maybe be quiet or let this shit slide. You kind of got to, all leaders aren't liked. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about being a leader is like people are going to be pissed at you sometimes because of how you're handling everything. But if it's for the betterment of the team, it's kind of like, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Right.
Walk us through the play because I know there's a video where maybe there was a little miscommunication with the rebound and the game clock.
Oh, against Portland.
And he just started cussing you out.
Fuck yeah.
Walk us through that play.
I remember that, bro. And I was sick after that, man. So like, I remember it too. There was like maybe like a couple seconds on the shot clock, maybe like 1 second on the shot clock, and it was like a 3-second game clock differential. So CP, I remember, shot a floater, and I'm like crashing the glass thinking I gotta tip it in to win, you know? And I fucking came down with the ball. You know what I'm saying? I came down with it. I'm like, damn, man, it's over. We gotta go to overtime or it's over with. And then I'm like, oh shit. And I'll try to shoot it. And then I think it was like Scott Foster or somebody's like, no shot.
Yeah.
But when I looked, I can't look at it. I can't look at it because I know I'm gonna be sick when I look at it.
Yeah.
And then of course, when you're young, you go look at everything on social media. You know? And I looked at it and I was like, fuck.
Social media beating you down.
I'm looking at it.
You feel the
like,
heat?
You idiot. What the fuck? Da. My parlay asshole, you know? But it's like, damn, man, I could have, when I look at even when I look at it now, I'm like, I could have tip dunked that shit back in.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but fortunately it wasn't like that important of a game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I could sleep.
I feel like it threw the other because like nobody tried to foul you. Nobody tried to like defend you.
Dame was sitting right there and he was kind of like just standing behind me like, all right, well, overtime. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew what was going on. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one who was kind of like in a brain fart situation, you know? Yeah. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah. So 2017 voted to NBA All-Star. And, you know, obviously All-Star games is nothing you take for granted. What was the experience like for you? Because that being your first,
that was my first
All-Star nod.
Man.
What was that moment like?
It was surreal, man, because I feel like, you know, you feel like you have a season. You're like, I'm supposed to make it this year. I should make it. You know, I'm going to make it this year. And I had a couple seasons like that prior to. And it was exciting to make it. I was also pissed because I'm like, fuck, I should have made it last year.
Right,
you know what I mean? Right. But it was a humbling experience being able to like, it was almost like the Olympics, man. Being able to like play with Hall of Fame guys on an All-Star team, knowing that this is something that you've watched since you were a kid. You know what I mean? And I think that me being able to do that and represent the Clippers like I did was amazing. And it was a surreal experience. I have a lot of friends who were in New Orleans and my family came up. So just to be able to have them there was great. Yeah.
You shared a story about how Doc told you can make 100 M's by defending and rebounding.
I told him that was impossible.
Break that story down.
I said that's impossible. So when Doc first got the job, we went to dinner, Nobu, Malibu.
It's Doc's spot.
That's his spot. You know that's his spot.
Yeah, that's Doc's spot.
That's Doc's spot.
That's his spot, man.
I go to the Nobu.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
Come on. It's on me.
Hey, bro, I'm trying to catch Doc on the road at a restaurant.
Right.
Like, let me see what the nicest restaurant is in Sacramento tonight. Doc gonna be there. He paying.
For sure.
But no, he just was telling me like what he expected of me, what I needed to do in order to reach the goals that I wanted to reach, that our team needed to reach. And it was pretty simple. It was like, you need to be the best screen setter in the league, get on the rim faster than anybody in the league, challenge every shot, and any rebound that comes off, it needs to be yours. That's the mindset you got to have. He said, you do that, you'll make $100 million, you'll be an all-star, you'll win a gold medal, you'll win Defensive Player of the Year, and you'll be a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, nah, Doc, like, this is a scoring league.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't score, it doesn't matter. And he was like, if you just trust me. And I said, all right, you know what? Fuck it. You know, I'm gonna trust this guy. Like, he's had KG and you know what I mean? So like, if KG, one of my favorite players of all time, can trust Doc Rivers, I can too.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and then like I started to see all of that stuff come, you know, and it was kind of crazy because I was like, damn, like he was right. You know, and then I started to take pride in just being the best defender on the floor, blocking shots, trying to grab it. I thought every rebound that came off the rim was mine, regardless of if my teammate was there. Like I'm like, I'm going to get it. Like every rebound is mine. Like I became selfish with it. I became like obsessed with it almost. And then I started to see all those things happen. And then like obviously like we didn't win the championship with the Clippers, but I ultimately did end up winning one, which was awesome. But the only thing that we didn't accomplish was Defensive Player of the Year. So, but I made a couple first team all defensive teams, which was, you know, just as great. And you know, being able to believe in him and trust him with that was awesome. So yeah,
and he secured the bag.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
So JJ and Jamal Crawford both talked about how they had minimal interaction with Donald Sterling during their time with the Clippers. And you were on the Clippers.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay, man. I got you here.
You see I'm getting like fidgety in my chair.
Hey, I'm just, I'm doing my job.
I got a little tequila here.
Okay. But, you know, you were on the Clippers for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And just curious, what were your interactions with Donald Sterling when you were a Clipper?
Well, mine were very minimal, you know, but they were also not ideal, you know. One of the first ones I had was like him and like a group of people coming into the locker room after the game. And, you know, you see that sometimes, you know, the owners of the teams coming into, you know, to congratulate everybody. But it was like, it's not like with a posse of people, you know. And this posse wasn't just like, you know, some of his boys. It was like some dudes, some chicks, some, you know. So it was like, all right, this is kind of sketchy. But I'm a rookie, so I'm like, okay, maybe this is just how it is.
It's normal.
But then when people start coming up to people with towels on and everything like that, it was just like a weird deal. You know what I mean? But it wasn't, at 19, I just thought, okay, maybe this is just how the league is. But after a while, you start to realize from your veteran leaders that like, nah, this is not normal.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a little weird.
Yeah, it was just like, this is strange. You know, can I take a picture with you?
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. You know, I got my, whatever. That's what you want to do, cool. But then like, I'm sure you guys have heard about the white party and all of that stuff. Like that was a sketch time. Like it wasn't mandatory, but it was mandatory. You know what I'm saying? And that just was like, it was a weird deal. You know what I mean? Bro, the draft that, and like I love.
But just before you, So people that don't understand what the white party is, what is the white party?
The white party is what it sounds like. Well, not what it sounds like.
Is this like, you know, 4th of July all white party?
This is like a American holiday themed party where you dress in all white. Obviously, it was not all white party. Where you dress in all white, and it was at one of Sterling's homes in Malibu on the beach. Super nice setup, and it was just kind of like his entourage of people, some business people, and the team. And what it felt like was, it was almost a showcase of.
It's tall black guys.
He said that.
And what
I didn't say that. Paul George said that. Yeah. That's almost what it felt like. And then like I felt super awkward for a guy like Blake, who we had just drafted number 1, and it was kind of like, oh, like he like was like escorting Blake around the party. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like, oh, meet him. Like, isn't he tall and handsome? And look at his muscles. You know, and it was kind of like, all right, well, I'm glad I ain't got no muscles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be like walking around.
That is awkward.
Yeah, like it was just kind of like.
Do you flex?
Yeah, like, but like it was kind of like, even Blake was like.
Yeah.
You know, it was weird, man. But then after a while, it was kind of like, y'all don't have to go to that no more.
Yeah.
You know? And we were like, thank you. We appreciate that. But it was just strange. It was a strange time. And then P almost had to go to those things. But we drafted Al Farouk Amino instead of P. But
I'm still hot at the Clippers for that. Because you know what? I had a good-ass workout in L.A. Like, I thought, like, oh, okay. Like, it was 8, so it was like, I don't know if I'll get drafted that early. But I also had a great-ass workout there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I might be at the crib. Like,
yeah, we saw that. And afterwards, we were like, oh, damn, we didn't get Paul George. Oh, cool. I went, oh, Farouk. Okay, cool. And then, like, when you guys' career started to progress, it was kind of like, the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, and that's no disrespect to Al Farouk Amino. He had a great career for sure. But it's just like, it was just 2 totally different paths. And it was like, P could have had the pleasure of going to the white parties.
I wonder what he would have said about you.
Man, look how tall, because I didn't have no muscles then either.
Like, look at his hairline.
LA's own.
Look at that hairline. That is a pristine hairline right there. Hey, look, Podcast P fam, we got to take a quick break on Story Mode with DJ to check in with my dog, John Wall. Stay tuned. This is The Connect, sponsored by AT&T. Stay connected to what matters most with AT&T. I'm happy to welcome my brother, 5-time All-Star, All-NBA, J-Dub.
Thanks for coming
What's
on,
up,
man.
Brody?
What's up, bro? Appreciate you for having me. It's been a long time coming. I should have been on here, but we finally got our way up there.
Facts. I love you getting into this pod space, bro. How the pod space been going for you?
It's been dope, man. Something I never really thought I was going to get myself into. People came to me with the idea this summer. Last year when I was just chilling, I was like, I'm just working out, being a dad, being at home. So it got me to embrace myself, you know what I mean? Watching your pod, you know what I mean? Watching All the Smoke, watch other guy pod, just put my mindset in there. And, over time, episode after episode, you continue to get better. And I fell in love. I fell in love with, you know what I mean? I get to talk about the game of basketball, something that I love. And I think I live and die behind it. So I've been enjoying it, bro. It's been a great space to be in.
Yeah, I think naturally, man, this is just a perfect space for you because you got like a photographic memory of like, it'd be shit you just remember it. I'll be like, damn, like you said like it just happened yesterday. So this definitely a perfect space for you. I do want to jump right into it. I saw Bones was down there working out with you recently in Miami. What's been the approach like as you navigate back to getting back into your form?
You know me, bro. I just love the game. Like you said, I'm always studying the game. I'm always talking about it. I see plays before it's supposed to happen. And I'm just a sponge of the game. I'm watching basketball all day, every day, girls, high school. I have my own John Wall Holiday Invitational Tournament. So I'm just locked into the game. I know how much it means to me. I know how much I miss the game. Bones always comes down throughout the summer. He was here last year, and we get the opportunity to get in the gym. And, I'm always there trying to be a sponge, try to be a vet to the young guys, just to teach them certain things they might not see and have the mindset that you got to work. You know what I mean? Like, I love to work. I love to be in the gym. And whenever guys ask to work out, I say, don't come over here and BS around now. Like, I'm coming to get my work. We ain't here to play around, mess around. It's an hour and a half, whatever we're doing. We're locked into the moment. So that's where I am. I know how much the game means to me, how much I want to get back to the game. Like you said, I've been an all-star. I've been a franchise player before. It's been a tough journey trying to get back there. The most important thing for me is just trying to stay healthy. I know a lot of these teams have a lot of, have a lot of young guys on the team. They don't have a lot of vets. And I think you need those vets in the locker room. That's what teams are missing. I'm willing to accept any role it is to be on the team. You know what I mean? If it's playing, not playing, Benny Udonis has a role, anything like that, I just want to be in the NBA jersey again because I know how much the game means to me, how much I still have left. And if it's helping the team playing, if it's helping the team trying to be a coach or be a mentor, I'm willing to accept that. So you know how much I love the game,
right.
bro.
I want to talk about, because, you know, we came into the league together, and yourself, D Rose, Russell, y'all kind of redefined that point guard position. You ever take a step back and from a legacy standpoint, like, do you realize how you revolutionized that point guard position?
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Like you said, coming in, like when I first came in, seeing Russ and seeing D Rose, I watched them in college, and I'm like, damn, these dudes is like that. Like, that's kind of reason why I chose to go play for Coach Cal, watching D Rose play. You know what I mean? I'm like, I played just like this. But yeah, man, like I tell people all the time, when we first came in, P, it wasn't no you go guard the power forward or you go guard the other person. Like, point guard had to guard point guard. I remember I had matchups of D Rose, Rondo. Then I go to the West Coast. I got Darren Williams, Steve Nash,
CP,
and Russ, and CP. And I'm like, man, this some BS. Like, why the league set me up with 6 games straight like this? So, yeah, I look at it because, you know what I mean? Like I always say, I don't think I got a lot of recognition for when I played. Like, I only made 1 All-NBA, 5-time All-Star. That's great. And I'm like, I averaged 20 and 10 for a lot of years, but I know my peers giving me my credit. That's what it means the most to me. So I feel like, yeah, we definitely changed the game, brought that perspective back in. Being a true point guard, but a point guard that was athletic, can score at will, and can lead their team and defend on both sides. So, yeah, I sit back and think sometimes, and my son, he's 5, he come here and be like, Dad, let's go watch your YouTube highlights. And I'm like, how you know about my YouTube highlights? He be like, because when you come to school to pick me up or come to my events, the parents be like, that's John Wall right there. That's John Wall right there. And he don't know. You know what I mean? He seen me play, but it was during COVID, so he really don't understand. And he sit back, and I just look over there sometimes and glimpse, and he be smiling. I'm like, as long as he happy and my peers know what I did, I can respect that, bro.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I definitely think you deserve your flowers, bro. From me to you, what you meant to this game, your impact, like, bro, you were 1 of 1, like you mentioned, the athleticism, the speed, the playmaking, the leadership, the size, bro. Like, you had the whole total package. You know what I mean? The ability just to score and you know, like, you was literally, when we played the Wizards, it was literally like, how do we stop John? Like, how do we slow him down in transition? You know what I mean? Like, it was just so much game planning that went ahead. And then we had that long series against y'all. I remember my days in Indiana, man. That shit right there,
I was
it was
about
like,
to bring that up.
Yeah. Well, I thought we was gonna lose.
I was mad.
I ain't gonna lie. It took.
Hey, I'm mad, P, because we still game 1. You know, I'm like, all right, we got him. Then game 2, the last 2 minutes, y'all been there before. You know, this is our first playoff run, so y'all been there. So we don't understand the time management at the time. We taking bad shots, and y'all just like, all right, we calm. We got 2 minutes. Then I'm like, damn, we go up. What is it, game 4? We up 20 at half. And I don't know what got into you, like who said something to you.
Yeah, I went crazy.
And I'm like, damn, P, like, then you start guarding me. I'm like, damn, why P got to guard me?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now I'm getting my respect in the league. Like, I got one of the best 2-way guys in the league right now guarding me and giving buckets. But you came out, I think you had like 20, 23 in the third, hit like 6 threes. I'm like, this some BS, man. I'm tired of this.
Yeah, I was going crazy.
So then, and I might say, now we're down 3-1, P. We go back to Indiana, game 5. I'm like, I'm not talking to nobody. Like, I'm not talking to nobody because I remember y'all game plan was not to help from this corner. You know, in pick and roll back then, y'all used to stunt from the corner, and that's when I get a lot of assisted corner threes to Trevor Reeves or Brad, and y'all stay home. And I'm like, damn, we got to figure this out. So then we got it back to game 6. Y'all close it out. Y'all ran that, whatever you call it, side pick and roll, David West pick and popping, and you in the opposite corners, like, we can't stunt there. Like, what the hell we going to do?
There go that memory.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
There go that memory, man.
Good memory,
that motherfucker got a vivid memory. He's sharp memory over there, man.
John, you had a great moment recently on your podcast with one of your centers, Gore Tot, which, by the way, was one of my favorite 2K centers back in the day. But he was on your podcast, and he apologized for a situation where no one came to see you when you went to the hospital when you had surgery during your time in D.C. Just talk a little bit about what that apology meant to you and how it made you feel.
In a moment, it hurt. You know what I mean? In real lifetime, it hurt. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I take my responsibility for letting the outside noise get to me and also get to our team. You know what I mean? As a team leader, you got to kind of cancel that outside noise in. And, you know, sometimes the media or other people that don't want to see y'all happy come in there and try to tear your team apart. So I put a little bit on my burden, but I mean, at the same time, I was happy to get that apology. That's somebody that I'm glad that we got past that. That's somebody I call my brother, somebody I enjoyed play with. a guy that got me hell of assists, set a lot of illegal screens, which I call the Gortat screen, to get me my dunk. So I definitely enjoyed that. And also just him coming in when I first got there, you know what I mean? He came in and he had played with Steve Nash in Phoenix, you know what I mean? So at the same time, I'm learning a lot of pick and roll things from him. I'm asking him questions, trying to be a sponge of the game. So I definitely appreciate that apology. At the same time, I learned my lessons of learning how to be a better leader from that, not let the outside noise get in. And that's somebody I still call my brother, and I'm glad we was able to have that and have him on my pod and have that conversation and get past that as two grown men.
That's awesome. And this question is for the both of you, but I'm sure both of you guys, you got into the league and you each became superstars on your own, respective teams. And as you guys have aged and gone through your career, how many times would you say do you have moments that you would look back on and find places maybe when you were a little bit more immature and younger where there were situations where you guys could have, now you can say, hey, I could have been a better leader there. Do you guys have some moments that maybe you could kind of touch on that?
Yeah, I feel like the one we just talked about, the one with Gortat's situation, when, I was injured and they came out, they went on a winning streak, and everybody was like, everybody eats. Hey, if you watch the movie Paid in Food, they said that, and I kind of let it linger a little bit, and then I took it the wrong way. I let the outside noise get in, and then we kind of started losing. I was like, all right, so y'all need me. But as a leader, I got to learn how to take that backseat to that. And then also I say, right before I got traded from D.C., that's another situation I got traded from D.C. Brad started getting into his rhythm, finding himself, making All-NBA, making All-Stars. And, everybody was like, well, they can't play together. Kind of you look at the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown situation. 7 years, they like, they not winning together. They can't play together. Is John going to take the ball away from Brad? And like I always told anybody, I didn't care about being a franchise guy anymore. I did it already. I had love from the city. I had love from the community. That's all that I really cared about. I was just trying to be the best big brother and point guard to help Brad keep elevating his game and go to that next step. That never really dwelled on me like that. And another situation I say is the Houston situation. Like going there, I think I was a great vet for those guys. But I think just saying my time there wasn't, I said it was like pointless and wasteless. It never was, because God gave me opportunity to come back and play the game. And it was during COVID. So, it was a lot of frustrations and dealing with my mom passing and my grandma passing, and then being traded from a place I've been to, called home for 10 years. That kind of hurt me a little bit. But I apologize and give my shout out to the Rockets organization and their front office and their owner, because they gave me an opportunity to play there. They gave me an opportunity to put back on the NBA jersey and give my respect. So those are the situations I would piggyback on.
Yeah, I definitely had moments throughout my career, especially early in my career, my days in Indiana, where, I felt I didn't do the young guys a good service there, like Miles Turner and, just the young guys that was after me. I think, at the time I was a little frustrated with the direction we were going. I felt, I'm in my prime. Put some talent around me, put some veterans around me, like, let's go try to win a chip. But in hindsight, had I been there and kind of just played it through, helped the young guys in time, we could have turned our young guys into some valuable pieces to play with. But, how this league go, man. You feel like your years is dwindling down. You putting your body through so much shit, and it's just like, man, like, I don't know how much more of this, like, it ain't equating to winning or winning at a high level or at that point trying to compete for a championship. So I was definitely immature in that moment of like letting the rope go, as people would say, on that situation in Indiana. And it helped me kind of grow later in my career on just give everything you got, be all the way in with your teammates. Now I have a different approach with the young guys. Like, I try to take them under my wing. I try to talk to them and communicate and just be there for them, stay late after practice, and just build a separate, relationship with them through that process. So I definitely learned a lot, Those days in Indiana helped me, from where I'm at now, for sure.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you're much more active with those younger guys on the team.
Yeah.
All the interactions I've seen you with them, you can tell that they look up to you and they listen to you, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
John, I want to rewind a little bit to your time when you were playing with the Clippers, which was a fun year. Everyone was excited, and you guys had a road game, and you went back to D.C., and you hit some big shots. The crowd was going crazy. I think you said something like, "This is my city." But just walk us through that moment, going back to D.C. and having the game you had. What was that like for you personally?
Um, it was amazing, bro. It really still to this day give me chills because I mean, being there for 10 years, getting drafted #1 there, my mom being there, being in that moment, you know, I mean, being close to North Carolina, only 4 hours away, and the city embracing me the way they did. And I remember leading up to the game, it was like they wanted to draw the first play for me and all this. I'm like, bro, let's just play. Like, I don't want the first play. I just want to play. And I missed some easy shots, and I was like, damn, bro, I'm playing bad. I want to win. It was a good game. They didn't have a lot of their players playing, but, you know what I mean, P and Nico and Watt held it down and made some big plays. But being in that moment, I had so much love. You know what I mean? Like, I bought so many tickets, and everybody that had a part in my life being there since I was a skinny 19-year-old kid with no facial hair, no kids, no nothing, no tattoos.
No tats, yeah.
They all, I had my cleaning lady there. I had people that worked on my house. I told some of the people that's like the ushers at the arena not to work. I would buy them tickets, like to have somebody else go for them. So when I made that shot and I turned around and looked at the crowd, I felt like I was in a Wizards jersey. Like, it felt like everybody looked at me, and I'm like, this is still my city. And I used to always say that when I was in that moment. And to see everybody raise up and give me that type of love, I was like, damn, they really love me here. This is a place I will always call home. So it was definitely great to get that win there.
Yeah, it definitely had goosebumps around that whole thing. Cause shit, we went to San Antonio. We saw the shit that went on with Kawhi in San Antonio. We go to Indy, different reception. Then we in Washington in DC, and it was just like you said, it was like you were still there. You know what I mean? And
yeah, for
you
sure.
felt it. Like, you felt the love that they really have for you, and the sadness of you leaving, and, you know, the respect that they have for you, because you meant so much. And then you just see kids with the 2 Wizards jersey and in the crowds. And I remember just playing, and I'm looking around like, there's a lot of like John Wall support in here.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was just a dope moment, bro. And I'm happy that they sent you off like that. I'm happy that you had that moment to bring peace to, I feel like, that situation as a whole. And man, that was awesome. That was nothing but love there.
It felt so dope for me because I forgot when I went there with Houston, it was COVID. You know what I mean? So it was no fans allowed. So I got to play one time, but it was no fans there. So that's why I say it was so much, because I know a lot of people wanted to go, but it was no fans. So when I went back and I was with the Clippers, and to be there with y'all, like guys I known for a long time, and to get that love and get the video, it definitely gave chills.
I know we had Gil here earlier in the season, and he mentioned that he would give the nod to you as being the greatest Wizard of all time. Do you feel that way yourself?
It's funny, bro, because I do. You know what I mean? Like, I know how much Gil means to the city, and like how he embraced the community the same way I did. I always tell people, like, I had arguments with DC guys all the time. Like, I'm taking Gil, I'm taking you. I'm like, I get it. I'm not mad at either one, but I feel like I'm that guy. You know what I mean? Just for going #1, being there, embracing the city the way I did, the way they're embracing me. I always go back, man. I try to go back every summer and show love. You know what I mean? I still do my backpack giveaway there, or I try to do a turkey drive or anything just to get back, because I know how much those people come from what I come from. You know what I mean? Being in Section 8, being in places where you have single moms or single dad, or you just don't have what you need. And I just always want to embrace and get back to that. So I definitely call myself the greatest Wizard, but I don't really like to say that unless other people say it. You know, like sometimes like, oh, I call myself the GOAT, but everybody else give me that recognition. So it's a debate to have, but I respect Gil for that. And I definitely want to give a big shout out to Gil, because I seen him on his pod when he was talking about, like, I gave him the love of basketball back. You know what I mean? And I never knew that story. Like, I just always, he said I can reach out to him. I hit Gil like, yo, what you think I can work on? What you think I can fix? And he was like, he never told me that he wasn't watching basketball. He was black, checked out of basketball. So to see that, that's a lot of love, and that's somebody that I respect. So it's a shout out to Gil for sure.
Right. That's one thing I love about this pod space is, like, indirectly you can get these stories off and hear from what other people's point of views are. When it's all said and done, you feel like #2 should be hung in that rafters in DC?
That would be something I would love, man. For my family, I would love that. For the team that drafted me #1, that would be great. I think for the city, they would love that and embrace that for sure. But in the day, you know, that's all up to Mr. Leonsis and his family and the Wizard organization to make that decision. But, you know, DC will always be home to me, bro. I connected with the fans. I connected with the community. They always will hold a special place in my heart. But for damn sure, my jersey should be in the Raptors, bro.
There you have it, man. We
John,
heard it from Dub himself. You got something?
I got one more question, because when I think of you, you have that iconic moment where you come out and you do the Dougie, okay? And there's a lot of people that watch this show, and I might be one of them, that might not be, the best at doing the Dougie. I want to know, if you were to pinpoint like the most important part of the Dougie for someone that might struggle with it, what would that be?
Well, me and Pete did it after we won the slam dunk contest thing.
He
got
me to Dougie. Yeah, that took a lot. That took a lot.
I gotta ask the pro. I got
Pete to Dougie a little bit and do the nay-nay with me a little bit. But
is it the hands?
It's all about the hands and the shoulder movement,
okay,
bro. Like, you got to have a little bit of hands and shoulder movement. Like any dance you do, it's all about the basics.
Yeah.
And then you got to throw your flair into it if you got some sauce. If you ain't got none,
just leave it alone.
You might get lost in the sauce.
Okay.
Just leave it alone.
Okay. Leave it alone.
But if you got if you could just get the fundamentals, then you start adding all the other stuff. Like, for me, I was shocked I did it, bro. Even when I danced in college, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm always a kid that didn't like dancing, do shit in front of nobody. And I was like, I got to have an ionic moment, bro. Like, I got to do something special. So, to go to Midnight Madness in Kentucky, Kyle said, nobody do no dancing or nothing when y'all go up that high. And they dropped the song, and I'm like, I'm dancing. I don't care what he talking about. And then it went legendary. So, like, Gil didn't think I would dance coming out my first home game. He was like, I bet you won't dance. And then the beat dropped, and I was like,
start a lineup.
Shit, it's here now. Like, I came back away. So, but I didn't even dap my teammates up. I take that back. I didn't even dap my teammates up. I remember, like, Kurt Heinrich holding their head, not trying to dap me. And I was just locked into doing my Dougie like I was getting paid to perform.
I always have to pretend like I know how to do it, because the part where it goes, I ain't from Dallas, but I D-Town Boogie. So if I'm feeling good, I have to throw a little like something.
Yeah.
I got to act like I know what I'm doing a little bit.
But like the D-Town Boogie is like another little dance you add to it. Like, that ain't even the Dougie. It's just like another little dance they do to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you one day in person.
Fair enough.
There you have it. We got it there. Hey, Dub, we appreciate you for coming through, bro. Thanks for hanging with us. Stay close to the action with AT&T. At home or on the go, AT&T keeps you connected to the game you love. Appreciate you, Dub. Love you, bro.
Appreciate you, Pete. Love, Brody.
So during the Clippers time, there was free agency situation that went on with the Mavericks. This at the time was probably one of the NBA's social media free agency stories that involved different stories and emojis and just a ton of stuff around it. Yeah. Can you set the scene for what happened during the decision to re-sign back with the Clippers? Because for the longest, we know that you was back home in Dallas. They had you locked in the house. Basically, forced you to make this decision.
I'm from Houston, first and foremost.
Houston, not Dallas.
Yeah. I'm from Houston, but I was gonna go back to Texas, my home state. But because this was after we had beat somebody in the first round, I forget, and then we were playing Houston in the second round, and we beat San Antonio. First round we beat, and then we're up 3-1 on Houston. We lose. So I'm like, all right, well, fuck, like maybe we ain't got it. This is just, it's maybe time for me to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Dallas. And I was like so sure about my decision at that point in my career that I was like, I need to try something different. I need to move on and maybe accept a new challenge for myself. And I told Blake and Chris, but I was scared to tell Doc. Because I was like, man, we so close, but I'm like, I don't want to let him down,
Mm-hmm.
So I went back I told Mark and Chandler and Dirk I was coming to Dallas. And then they're like, hey, let's fly to Dallas tonight. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to go home. Me and my family going to Jamaica or somewhere. And we went, and I was like, nah, I'll come back. I'll go to Dallas after I get back. I need to, once free agency starts, I want to go home and like just kind of separate myself. We're in Houston at my house. My brother's there, a couple of my buddies, and I get a call from Doc. And I'm like, oh, shit. And my brother Corey, who's over there right now, is like, don't answer that. And I'm like, nah, it's my dog. I got to answer the phone. So I talked to Doc for a second, and we're just chatting it up. And I told this story a ton of times, so it's out there. And I'm like, he's like, hey, man, it took me a while. Like, I'm happy for you. I just think that we got some unfinished business here. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that too. I feel that. but I just, I want to try something new. I just don't think that we're going to get over that hump. And I said, and then plus, Doc, I already told these people I'm going to Dallas. I can't tell them I'm not going, And he was like, well, if you did change your mind, we would have your back. And I'm like, man, I know, Doc, but it's just tough. He said, well, give me an hour. I'll call you right back. I said, all right, cool. So like 20 minutes later, Blake calls me.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, bro, what's going on? You coming back? And I'm like, what you mean? I said, no, we're going to Dallas.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, shit, Doc just called me and we coming to Houston tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, shit, y'all coming to Houston? Yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. Fuck, all right. So I call my mom. I'm like, hey, mama, I think the people from the Clippers coming out here tomorrow. And she's like, DeAndre, you told them people from Dallas you going? And I'm like, yeah, but Doc and then want to come out here and talk. And she was like, oh, shit, the people in Dallas going to kill you, So they came out, and ultimately we had like this huge, big conversation, and it was like a great, like get everything on the table, air it out kind of conversation, and ultimately I ended up staying. And I should have got a deal with Twitter at the fucking time, you know what I mean? Because I kind of like, we had the numbers jumping that night.
Right.
But it was a fun time, and I think that when you're at that age, P, like your mind is telling you, I need to do this, but your heart is telling you, no, I need to. So it was a tough situation for me, wanting to be able to switch jobs like everybody else in the world chooses to do at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But in our world, it's kind of like it's broadcasted and you get chastised for it. And,
right.
But it was a fun time. Yeah.
What ultimately like sold the decision? Because you said your heart was kind of set on going to Dallas.
No, my mind was set on going to Dallas because
your mind was going to Dallas. Your heart was stuck
I was
on
like,
staying.
Because in my mind, in my heart, I was like, I want to stay with the Clippers until I retire. I don't want to leave ever, But I felt like I needed to move on and try something new because we had kept getting to that point in the playoffs, but we could never get over that hump. And I was like, man, like, am I ever going to be able to get over the hump here?
Mm-hmm. But I want to know, like, who, like, because whoever said the final word of whatever the pitch was, like, what was the final word of, like,
well, my mom got it popping.
I'm coming back.
My mom got it popping. She was like, Steve was there, Ballmore was there, and Doc was there, and they was like, all right, anybody got anything to say? And we all kind of like sitting there, like, and my mom was like, all right, well, I got something. Y'all don't like each other? Like, y'all three don't like each other? What's going on?
Yeah.
And we all kind of was like, oh, shit, okay. I'm getting chills even talking about it. And I'm like, okay, well, here it is, like, so we just kind of, Chris, Blake, and I, we just had like put it out there, you know what I mean? And I think that it was kind of like going back to what we were talking about with teammates and button heads and expecting things out of people. And it just became like okay, well, I don't like this. Well, I don't like you do this, but I think you need to do more of this. And it was a conversation that I think needed to be had years prior to that. And I think that it's a lot of conversations that a lot of teams in the league need to have right now, just because it kind of like puts it all on the table. And it's like, I love you. I got your back, but I'm going to let you know what is bothering me and what you should let me know what's bothering you. And after that, it's flushed and let's go this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the conversation did for our team and for us three as a whole. And after that, there was no question about like, okay, I know this dude got my back. I know he's got my back, and they know I'm gonna do whatever it is for them. And it was great after that. And then ultimately, I decided I'm staying. And I was like, all right, cool. Like I'm dapping everybody up. JJ's there. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll holler at y'all. And then Armand Hill and Paul Pierce go outside. They smoking cigars, and I'm like, all right, I think y'all about to leave. I'm like, I need my house back. And Paul Pierce is like, oh, you don't know? I'm like, no, what? He said, oh, Doc not leaving until you sign. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. But, I'm on Central Time, so I got to wait till 11:01 to sign. So they stayed in my house till like well past after midnight, and then we kind of just celebrated there. And then I had to reap the consequences that came with Dallas and the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. What was that conversation like? Because you said that you talked with Chandler and all those other guys.
Yeah.
You had to make that call right after that.
Yeah, I mean, Chandler and I are good now. Mark and I are good now. But it's shit turns quick, fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be friends with somebody, and then when that shit happens, it's kind of like, nah, I'm off that dude. Which I understand. I get it. But, you know, to Dallas, I was kind of like the devil. You know what I'm saying? And it was, I get it. I did make a verbal commitment to them. I understand that. But, you know, it was the first, because I feel like I'm a likable guy. Like, I feel like I got no enemies in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just who I am, you know? But at that point, I was like, damn, I got a whole city that's like, fuck that dude. When we went back to play Dallas in Dallas, they had my picture on the front page of the paper with like, to cut out and bring to the games, like with like the dotted lines with devil horns on it. And I was like, damn. So it was the first time for me, I was like, fuck, like, damn, am I that bad of a person?
Right.
You know
Wait. They put devil horns on your face
bro.
on the paper?
On the newspaper for people to bring to the games. And also, this was like also after we had did the Hooper commercials. So I was like Mrs. Hooper. So it was like double. I was getting, you know what I'm saying? So it was bad. It was bad for me.
State Farm stuff, right?
Yeah, the State Farm commercials. So it was fucked. But it was fun, man. Like it was cool.
You just mentioned Paul Pierce, but you know, we see Paul Pierce now. He's doing his podcast, and you know, he's known, at least right now, to maybe being a little crazy, not understanding how Instagram Live or live podcasts.
I said this because it's funny that like P is like the dude that just figured out how to work social media. You know what I mean? Like it is funny watching him with his rants, with his like Celtics win. He doing crazy, like he on whatever show. What's the show
he's on with KG, but
he's got the podcast with KG, but then he does like one of the station shows, one of the TV station shows. Undisputed. He does Undisputed.
Yep.
And he's a character on there. So it is funny watching him.
It's like
in this new world of social media. I wish I could
like in the stream.
Yeah, bro, that was watching KG just like, hey, yo, man, like trying to.
KG's like, yo, Tickle, we're working. That shit was funny as fuck, man. He was like, no, look, the game is on. Like,
check this out.
You
like,
trying,
no, lose the day. Like, oh my gosh,
you can get
bro.
a girl for the day. Tick.
But what's your craziest Paul Pierce story as a teammate?
I mean, I gotta say it's probably the meeting, bro. Like, at my crib, I had never met Paul before, but Paul showed up to the meeting. You know, I think we had signed Paul as a free agent that summer, and then I see Blake and Chris and JJ, and then Doc and Balmer, and then one of the equipment managers who I was super duper close with. He comes in, and then it's like P, and I'm like, oh, what up? P? Like, what's happening? He's like, yeah, man, we trying to get your big ass to stay, dog. Damn, what you doing? Where you going? You going to Dallas? What's up? And I'm like, all right, sit down. You want to drink? Like, what, And I'm like, all right, like. And my mom was like, is that Paul Pierce? And I'm like, yeah, I guess he is. So it was just funny, like, but it was cool to like have a guy who's a Hall of Famer, a champion, like pull up who doesn't know me at all just from basketball, pull up and be like, nah, bro, we want you to stay here. Like that was cool, but definitely very funny.
So with all the bad blood between the decision that you were gonna make to the decision that you did make, you ended up still being in Dallas a couple years after that.
Yeah.
Then you're there with the young Luka.
Yeah.
But there's that hilarious video of going for a rebound, you push Luka out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
So NBA Twitter had fun with that one.
Yeah.
What was the relationship like between y'all two? Because it seemed like, and you have a way with the Europeans, because also Jokic has a very special relationship with you as well.
Yeah, that's my dog.
What was the relationship like with you and Luka?
Luka and I were great, man. Like, I think that video got blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Luka's very animated, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, I love Luka, and it was kind of like I told you, like, I'm like, every rebound is mine. I'm getting every rebound. Like, I'm gonna give y'all the ball, but I'm getting every rebound. And it was kind of like, it was just funny because when I got the rebound, I was like, yeah, bitch, and then gave, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, this is like a joking thing, but like, when people get stuff on media, it's kind of like, Luka was upset with DeAndre about this. Like, no, we laughed about it in the locker room afterwards. So it's just kind of like, okay, I'll let it play out. But enjoyed my time in Dallas. I'm obviously a Cowboys fan, die hard, so it was cool to be able to do that, but it was also be able to be close to Houston and be able to be around my family.
Mm-hmm.
But playing with Luka was great, bro. Like, he came in when he was 18 or 19 years old, and he had it then.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, a guy who is going to feed off of a playmaking guard, it was great to be able to play with a guy like that.
Was there like a particular moment that you watched him and you was like, yeah, he liked that?
I think just watching him in, in training camp and in practice, like him just being so, like he works on his craft, no doubt. Just seeing him do nonchalant stuff like behind the back, half-court shots or hook shots from the free throw line, three-point line, and he just swishing them both hands. And I'm kind of like, and he's messing around.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like he was trying to make these shots. He was just goofing off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I had seen his highlights, but I had never seen him play in person. And just to be able to see him control his own pace, he's not sped up by anybody. He's bigger. He's stronger than a lot of guys. It was fun to see him. I'm like, damn, this dude's a rookie. Obviously, he had been a pro for a few years prior.
Right.
But to be able to see him do that stuff, I'm like, oh, he's going to be good for a very long time.
Everyone's got a thirst, a drive to be the next big thing, to put the world on notice. And for me, to be one of the best basketball players every night. So if you answer when your thirst calls, Sprite for you.
Well, you know it's for me then. Having equity and being a managing partner in my own mortgage company at the age of 35 has quenched my thirst to be as successful as I wanted. But even that hasn't stopped my drive towards greatness. Sprite is made for those who thirst for success and are working to make their dreams a reality.
So keep going and remember to be true to yourself. Obey your thirst, Sprite. You've had some, incredible teammates. When you look at Luka, you look at CP, you look at Jokic. Now you throw Blake into that mix. How special was Blake when you watch him up close?
Blake Griffin is one of the most
because I don't think he
talented
gets
players.
the credit that he deserves.
He doesn't get the credit that he deserves, bro. Like, just the way that his game was able to adapt over the course of his career, I thought was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
When he first came in, he was obviously like a highlight reel dunker and playmaker, but then like when injury started to affect him, he was like, oh, you know what? Hey, I can still dunk on your ass,
Right.
but I'm going to work on my 15-footer. I'm going to work on my 18-footer. I'm going to work on my three. I'm working on my ball handling to where I can become a dominant point forward. And like, if Blake was in his prime right now, he would make $500 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the player that he was, man. And I think if Blake wanted to play now, he could still be playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And like, his work ethic was one of the hardest that I've ever seen in my life. And he was just super duper special, bro. And like, I think when you're able to adapt to different teams, different teammates, different time periods of the game, that's a great trait to have.
Mm-hmm.
And he had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about like guys that just know how to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
They come out this way. This is what the league know them as.
Yeah.
Then they reinvent themselves and then they extend their careers and they, you know what I mean? Like you look at Al Horford, a guy that reinvented himself and now is a champion. Like you look year 17, like it's crazy.
Because you think about Blake and it was like, okay, he's going to Detroit. All right, they're going to forget about Blake Griffin.
Exactly,
Like, no, he went there and led them to the playoffs. He was an all-star there.
Mm-hmm.
He shot the shit out of the ball from three. Like, he was the leader of that team. And I think that, that definitely gets overlooked. And then even when he came to Brooklyn, he was a great player there. And in Boston last year, he was great there as well. So it was, he did a lot of great things throughout the course of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's a good comedian now? Because doesn't he do a lot of stuff
he
with
does.
comedy now?
He's
Like,
pretty funny, bro. Like, Blake's always been a funny dude, but it was kind of like once he was like, all right, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do comedy. I'm going to tell jokes. It was like, oh, shit, like, you know what, like, you could go out there and bomb.
Yeah.
But it was like, I could also go out there and fucking kill it because half the battle is like getting these people on my side. And then when I go out there, they on my side.
Right.
But like he had that with him, but also like Blake is funny as shit. You know what I mean? So like he had the double whammy, so it's like he's taking this shit to another level.
That shit just came out of like left field though. Like, did you like When he did it, was there ever a conversation like, yo, DJ, I think I'm gonna get into this comedy shit?
Yeah, it was a conversation. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like we could tell jokes with each other and on the team bus. Like, that's great. But like telling jokes in front of people we don't know, like what? And then I remember like maybe his second to last year with the Clippers, he had hosted like a comedy event. And he went up there and told jokes. And I was like, oh shit, he's actually really good at really good, bro. And it was just, he was super raw, but he was really good. And then like, to see him progress and like take it seriously, write jokes down. He's producing comedy movies now and other things. It's kind of cool to see, man, and I'm happy for him. Yeah,
he might be the only NBA player to ever go that route.
Yeah.
Can you think of anybody else? I mean, Shaq is.
Shaq did everything.
Yeah, but like he's all about it with the shows and all that.
I actually ran into BG down in Cabo.
Oh, really?
Him and Chandler were together not too long ago.
Yeah, we played last week together.
Is Blake pretty good?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Who won?
I know he can hit that motherfucker mile too.
When you guys have Blake on the show, I'll let Blake tell you guys who won.
Okay, that's fair.
We'll see if we can get him. We can't even get him to sign that.
This is true.
Can we discuss
sign this shit for PG, please.
I hope this goes viral, BG. I need you. I need you, brother. I need you, please.
BG, pull up to Podcast P, bring about 5 fire-ass jokes, and then the contract signed for my dog. You know which contract we're talking about. Bring it, and then, there
we go.
Perfect.
Appreciate that.
So Inside the NBA has been a cultural staple for nearly 30 years now, and one of their most viral moments on the show was reacting to the ordeal at Staples Center between the Rockets and the Clippers back in 2018. And the media only said what they knew, but you were actually, I don't think you played, you were a DNP with an injury.
Sprained ankle, I remember that.
But is there anything that you can break down about what really happened that night? Was LAPD called? Like, what's the real story?
Well, a lot of it's true. A lot of it's true. You know, that was it's a very emotional game. It was, obviously Chris's first game, I believe, back in LA after he went to the Rockets. So I love CP, but that night it was like, fuck CP. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just kind of, and it was just a lot of shit talking being thrown around. And then towards the end of the game, it was, and I'm sitting on the bench, so I talk shit. But I'm not like, I beat your ass, PG.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm locking that shit up, PG. Shit like that.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of got a little more than between two players. And I don't want to say those players' names, but you guys could kind of guess who those guys were. One guy's from the great city of Los Angeles. Another guy is from the great state of Florida. They kind of got into it towards the end of the game. And you know how the hallway is, the visitor side. If you walk through the back, you can get to the Clippers locker room. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting at my locker, which is, the locker room, going toward the training room.
The locker's
my locker's
there.
in the corner right there. My former locker. So I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden I see the homie from the Rockets right here, and I'm like, yo, hey, what you doing, bro? You can't be up in here.
Yeah.
Get out. What you doing? I'm standing up. He's like, no, I'm looking for somebody. I'm looking for that motherfucker right there.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, nah, bro, you got to get out of here. So I got my boot on. I'm trying to push my dog out of here because we have a relationship. I'm pushing him out of here. When I push him out to the hallway, I see the whole Rockets team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, shit.
Guys?
I'm like, this ain't for me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, come on, what y'all doing? Like, no, we want to talk to so-and-so. We just want to talk to him. I'm like, y'all not talking to him.
Right.
All 15 of y'all want to talk to him? No,
Mm-hmm.
that's not happening. Then when I turn around, I got my whole teammates here. Somebody has a weight in their hand. So this was just like a crazy situation. And
so it was escalating.
It was escalating for sure. At the end of the day, I don't think nobody in the league want to fight.
Right.
But
that's the most that that reaction is the most that you've probably seen that I've ever heard of in the
that
league.
one. And then the Warriors, I'm like, I may have to throw down tonight.
Yeah.
But then it was kind of like security came in there and kind of separated everything, and then it was just it was dead after that. But it was quite animated that night. You know what I'm saying?
Wish we could see it.
Yeah.
That would have been fun to watch.
So fast forward 2019
Mm-hmm.
with Kyrie and KD.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the backstory of how that happened. What got you into?
Well, I was in Dallas that year, and then I ended up getting traded to the Knicks, and KD, Kai, and I were super duper close, and we had been talking about teaming up and for a while, and it just never quite happened. Our deals never aligned with that, and then that year it kind of did, and we had talked about this teams and discussed teams, and the Knicks came up, and I was like, well, shit, I'm already here.
Oh,
I was like, I'm already here. We can come here. You know,
right.
they got a ton of money, and
Yep.
you know, it's a great city, this and that. And then the Nets got brought up, and then their roster, they already had some great pieces. And then ultimately, we decided that was what we were gonna do, and it was a great time. I thought at that point in my career, it was a great decision to be able to play with two of my great friends. And ultimately, we obviously didn't reach the goal that we wanted to, but I think it was, looking back on it, it was a great time for me because I was able to actually like choose my path with guys that I wanted to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And if I succeeded, it was my decision. If I failed, it was my decision. But ultimately, we didn't reach the goal that we wanted to reach. But I was happy with it because I got to play with some great guys in an amazing city and live on the East Coast for the first time in my career.
Mm-hmm.
So after leaving the Nets, you you joined the 2021 Los Angeles Lakers for a little bit of time, and on that team you had LeBron, Carmelo, Rondo, and Russ, just a ton of stars.
Mm-hmm.
And Melo on his show, he mentioned that your group had some of the best times off the floor.
Oh yeah,
But on the floor was a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But talk to us how the locker room was with so many of those big personalities and stars.
the locker room was great. Like, I had always been a fan of AD, Bron, Russ, Melo. Rondo was a guy who I was dying to play with at some point in my career. Trevor Ariza, Avery Bradley, guys like that. And it was a cool team to be around. I was also happy because I was back in a place where I consider home at this point in my life, LA, and I was able to like take my son to school and pick him up. So that was a plus for me. Our record obviously wasn't what we wanted it to be, but being around those guys was amazing. I learned so much. Being a Laker is definitely very different. And it was strange for me even putting the uniform on the first time. And I'm not saying like it's bad, but I just, you know, being like, I want to beat that team so much for 10 years to finally joining that team, it was strange. But it was a great experience for me, and it was fun. We had a great group of guys that gelled really well together. We just couldn't figure it out on the floor. We dealt with a lot of injuries. We did a lot of other shit. But that didn't take away from our camaraderie and chemistry off the floor, though. Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what were the biggest differences? Because you played for the Clippers and the Lakers. And for fans and most people that follow basketball, you know, you always hear about how, you know, being a part of those Lakers, you know, just with the history, the media. Did you really feel that difference when you were with the Lakers? Like, when you started playing for the Lakers, everything that comes with that, could you actually tell a difference?
I couldn't really tell a difference because I had been in LA so long, so it was always like this show in a sense.
Okay.
But when I was with the Clippers, we kind of like built it up from lottery to playoffs. So it was being able to like do that was awesome. But then you go to the Lakers and it's almost like you should feel lucky to play for the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Which is, I mean, they got 17 championships. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm also an NBA player too. I also have done great things in my career, not taken away from what the Lakers have done, but it's almost like your charity. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, bro, like I know what the fuck I can do. You know what I mean? And I think that also has helped them win a lot of championships too. Like putting pressure on guys, holding guys accountable, which is awesome. But some people just, you know, aren't built for that situation, and that's okay.
So after the Lakers, now you in 2022, you signed with the Denver Nuggets, and you started to play with Nikola, the Joker, the big man. I want to know what it was like meeting him for the first time.
Well, when I met him, Jeff Green was telling me, he was like, hey man, like, he's super cool, he's awesome, but he don't really talk that much. And I'm like, fuck that, he talking to me.
Okay.
Like, that's my personality. Like, we gonna have a conversation. I'm like, you speak English, right?
Yeah, right.
Cool. We can rock and roll. And even if you don't, we gonna figure some shit out. And Nikola is one of the most funniest, underrated guys you've ever met. And sometimes he's not even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But he's super down to earth, family guy, and basketball is just something that he's really, really fucking good at. You know what I'm saying? Like he's kind of like a guy who is super present in life. And it's like, hey, you know what? I love basketball, but basketball isn't me. It's not like what's gonna define me in my life. I'm not gonna let basketball ruin me having a great time at home with my daughter, with my wife, with my friends, with my family. And I think that that's awesome. And Nikola is very funny because sometimes when he wants to avoid shit, like he acts like he doesn't speak English, which is funny.
Like,
Wow,
It's like, oh, Nikola again. Brother, I don't, sorry. You know, I'm like, fuck you. You know what I'm talking about. But it's just funny. He's one of the greatest teammates I've ever had, and he's a great guy. He's super selfless, and he's obviously a monster. So it's cool.
Who came up with the handshake that you guys do before every game?
Bro, you know what's crazy? I saw him and Boban doing some kind of like triple kiss thing, and I'm like, okay, cool. I seen that in
It's a big man thing.
Europe before. Like, look, I seen the 2, but never the 3. So I'm like, yo, what's the? Why you do 3 kisses with Bobby? And he's like, brother, it's Serbian thing. And I'm like, oh, he said, well, you're Black Serbian. I'm like, okay, cool, man. So one day we won, and he came up to me, and I'm like, oh shit. This is the day.
Is the day.
You know, like he's turning. I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm like, I can't fuck it up. Because if not, he's going to be like, you're not Black Serbian. So like I dapped him up, and then we did it. And he was like, good job. And then, and after that, it was just kind of like a thing, you know, and then that was it. So I guess they call me Jordanovich now. So that's I'm rolling with it.
That's good.
Have you had the invite to go to Serbia?
I've had the invite, yes. I was gonna go last year, but we declined, so I'm probably gonna go in September this year.
Okay.
But I went in like 2007, we had the under 17 in Novosad. We went there and played. So I actually played against Boban when I was like 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah,
he was like
crazy.
7'5".
Bro, 7, like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, all right, dog. Like, it was,
You know he's like a hell of a swimmer.
is he? I mean, he covered the whole damn pool.
Yeah, I told this story because I went to Serbia and, you know, with my wife, and we linked up with them while we was out there in Montenegro. And we went swimming. I told this story before, but like I was
He treads water really well.
I was blown away by how good in the water he is. Like,
damn,
he's agile in the water, and it fucked me up. Like,
damn. See this big 9-foot motherfucker.
Like, he's
just like,
treading water, and like I promise you, his belly button was on top of the water.
See, that's scary to me.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
That's crazy, bro. That's wild.
It was to the point where I was like dunking under the water, like. Is he still?
Like, your feet touching the ground. He's just personable, bro. Like shit that he knows that he's being funny, but he also don't know. Like when he do this shit right here, like you know what I'm saying. He just when he was with the Clippers, he would like him and Tobias got a super tight relationship, and he'd be doing this shit and like DJ, what's up, Bobby? Walking like I talk it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where you know that song from? Bro, Migos, they're very easy to learn. And I'm like, oh, okay, dope. And I'm like, he said, that's how I learned a lot of English. Rap songs and friends.
Yeah.
I'm like your homies? And he's like, no, the show Friends. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Yeah. But like, Bobby is like, he's a great guy. Whether he plays, whether he doesn't, he's the same dude on and off the floor. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. He got a positive attitude, and like you want to have people like that around the team.
Yeah, he's super personable. Like it's almost like he knows he's the biggest person.
Yeah.
And like usually those people are like more shy and conservative, like, because they're so much bigger, but like he embraces
He embraced that shit. Crowd, we want Bobby.
Yeah.
He sit down there.
Yeah.
More. So the coach can put me in. Like, that's the shit that he does. And like, so the other 12, 13 guys on the team, like, I fuck with that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you're, you get it at the end of the game, or you're a rookie, you don't really play a lot. If he doing that as an NBA veteran, and like, you got to go in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he keeps everything light and positive. So you want that around for sure.
I want to kind of rewind it to that the amazing moment of winning the NBA championship. Talk to me about that feeling. Like, was it everything you imagined on winning it? Like, what was the emotions like after y'all won it in Denver?
Fuck, man. Fuck. I'm not getting emotional or anything. It's like,
bro. I was like,
I'm not.
Don't take Jackie's tissues.
Yeah. It's
that
just,
would have been bad.
it's crazy, bro, because it took 15 years. You know what I'm saying? And when we actually won, it was like, you don't think about. Well, for me, I didn't think about, damn, we just won a championship. Let's fucking celebrate, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking of, what got me emotional during that time was I was thinking about all the failures I had previously to that moment. And I thought about the times that we failed with the Clippers, the times we came up short with the Clippers, the times that we got injured or we gave up a lead, or all of those things that kind of got me to where I was at last year with the confetti coming down and me hugging my family and my sons and my wife. Like, it was just, it's a lot, bro. Like, when people think about, oh, I'm gonna do this when I win, like, no, it's gonna be totally different. Like, my brother's like, man, you gonna fucking cry. And I'm like, no, I'm not, bro. Like, fuck, I'm gonna be happy as hell, you know? But it was just such an emotional rush of a roller coaster. It was amazing, bro. Like, it was something I'll never forget. It was dope. Yeah.
We all see the videos after you guys win. Jokic just goes right back to like farming and watching horses. And Aaron Gordon went over there. And before I do continue, I'd like to just take a moment and say that I'm praying for the Gordon family. Some of my best memories was going down to UCLA with Drew, Malcolm Lee, Jeremy, and just playing. But Aaron went over there with them, and I was just curious if you had an open invitation to go with them to Serbia.
Yeah. I mean, Nikola has invited me to Serbia. We actually went to Europe last summer, me and my family, and there was like this, we were waiting in the airport, and there was a plane out there that said Air Serbia. So I took a picture and sent it to Nikola. I was like, I'm on my way. He said, you lying motherfucker, are you? And I'm like, nah, we going somewhere else, bro. He said, but maybe after that you can come here. And I'm like, nah, bro, we going back to the crib. But this summer I told him that I'm gonna come out. So I gotta be a man of my word. I gotta go visit him. But I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of horse shit and
because
beer.
He's like in the village and stuff, right?
He's
I
in the
went
thick
to
of it.
Serbia. Was it last summer? I think last summer I went to Serbia with my wife.
Where were you?
Belgrade,
yeah.
Beautiful place.
I've been to Belgrade and Novi Sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know Serbia. Yeah. Serbia is amazing, bro.
Yeah.
I had a
dope.
grand time.
It's
Serbia.
cool out there.
Yeah.
But he's
more countryside, right?
Sombor, yeah. So I'm gonna go out there and visit him, and I'm like, hey, can we just chill in Belgrade? He's like, no, you come to my hometown. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'll pull up. You hear Nikola in the locker room. I don't know what you heard about me. You know, so it's kind of like, you know, that 50 Cent song, okay, cool. Like, so it's always something that can connect guys together. And it's like, it's cool. So whatever your background is, music, TV shows, things like that. Like I'm telling Nicole, like, yo, you gotta watch Game of Thrones, you gotta watch Peaky Blinders. Like, so he's like, are they good? I said, trust me, I'm telling you, these are shows that you wanna watch. So now, like, he's sitting in front of me on the plane, and I'm like, is it good? It's like, so it's just like shit like that, kind of like, whatever. If we not on the same time difference, we didn't grow up the same way, there are things that can connect us, and I think music and shows.
I think it says more about them of just like how they embrace our culture so quick. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we do the same if we go there, but I feel like it'll be tougher for us to kind of adapt there more so than when they come over here. Like, I feel like they just open arms, like, oh, okay, this is where I'm at. Like, this is a part of who I am now.
And Nikola has also, like, enhance my Serbian folk music knowledge. You know what I'm
So
saying?
you
Like,
listen to some Setsa.
yeah, like he'll be like, "Oh, DJ, download this song. This is a good song." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not listening to that shit, bro.
Yeah.
And he'll play. I'm like, all right, cool. This is kind of like a nice little, like, you know, I got a couple beers in me or some tequila. Like, I'm dancing to this, you know.
Have you had Rakia?
I got Rocky at the house.
Yeah.
With like a little pair
You
in
Black
it.
Serbian now.
Yeah, I'm Black Serbian. Bro, Jordanović for sure. Like, I've had Rocky
I'm
before.
Djordjevic.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, and I got a bottle at the house right now with like a little, I don't know how they do it, but it's like, it's a pair in mine. And you have a lot of that and it's good.
Get you right.
It's good
No,
stuff.
I ain't gonna lie. Rakia is really good. Like,
Yeah.
we shout out Serbia, man. If anybody ain't had Rakia, you gotta have Rakia.
He had a
You gotta
blast.
say it like that.
We were
Rakia.
FaceTiming him, and he was just raving
I was
about
FaceTiming
how
every night.
fun it was,
Yeah,
bro.
Bro,
Come
Serbia
out
is
here.
dope. It's awesome. And then like we got Serbia in Denver. So it's like, it's dope. Like Nikola turned the music on, like Rakia for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. Him and another one of my teammates, Vlako Chanchar, who is from Slovenia, got me some Rakia, and it's good stuff.
Last question, just because I'm curious. When I look at him, in your eyes, is he arguably one of the most talented basketball players that you've ever seen? Because
1,000%.
with all of his personality, it's kind of like, I'm not saying he doesn't work out. He had to have worked on his game.
Yeah.
But it just looks like he's just out there just
He's
having fun,
yeah, he's
just
at his own
naturally
pace.
gifted at
Yeah.
playing basketball.
Nikola's at his own pace, man. Like, and that's the thing about great players. Like, you're not gonna rush P into a shot. He like, nah, I got the ball. I'm in control. I know what I'm doing. I prepare for this shit. Like, I'm gonna get where I want to get to. And that's the same with all of these Hall of Fame players and these guys who are able to do great things in our league. It's like, and Nikola's no different. He's just 7 feet tall and can pass and shoot and do all these other things like a guard. And it's like, it's amazing to see, bro. It's like, but it's also like you take it for granted because you see him in practice every day. Or it's like, oh, hey guys, like this guy played great. This guy played great. Nikola, you played great. 35, 17, and 15. And it's like, all right, well, if Nikola don't get a 30-point triple-double, it's like, whatever. But like when you think about it, that's rare.
Mhm.
It's almost like when Russ was averaging 30, 10 plus and 10 plus, and people were like,
But it was normal.
like it's normal for those guys. So it's insane. Yeah.
DJ, we want to appreciate you for story mode, man. You said and told hella stories.
Yeah.
Before we wrap though, I want to give the floor to you, spotlight to you. If you could share any moment throughout your career to your grandkids, from LA time, Denver, Dallas, I mean, you name it. What is a story you'll share with your grandkids?
Ooh. Well, Jaden, Zen, these are my kids. I hope to not be telling this story for a very long time. But I would just say the whole course of my journey, man. I would say the journey is the reward. You know what I'm saying? That book, The Alchemist, is very present in my mind. I think that being able to go through everything that you go through, from being pissed that I wasn't a first round pick to dropping to the second round, going to the Clippers and building my way up and going from here to here with that team, and individual accolades to going to teams and be like, oh, well, you got to start over and reprove yourself again, to going to Denver, winning a championship, to ultimately being on the pinnacle of the basketball world at a point in time. You know, don't give up on that journey is probably what I would tell my kids. Like, go through all the trials and tribulations. Don't quit. Enjoy the shit that you got to go through, because that's going to make you stronger in the end.
There you have it. Appreciate you, DJ Moy Brate.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for having me, man.
That is a wrap on Podcast P.